what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What's shaking? How you doing? How's your Friday, man? A lot going on. I'm telling you, I got this new version of StreamYard that's jacking with me. I'm sure it's great. But Happy New Year, everyone, says Diana Jean O'Brien, who's from Shrewsbury, Shropshire. Yeah. Let's see here. We've got Sunday Jenna says good evening. Hello, Sunday Jenna. And various other comments. Oh, it's Shane. Van Shane. Hey, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. We've got Dak. This is nice hoodie, Tom. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you, Van Shane. Haven't seen you in a while. We're posting to some different places tonight. I don't understand why it doubles up on my post, but whatever. Whatever, who cares? Hey, you know, we are so happy and so proud to be back with Sonic Asylum Radio, the good people there. I'd like to say hi to all those fine folks who might be watching from Sonic Asylum Radio. I'd like to encourage everyone to watch Metal Maiden Vicky's Metal Euphoria this weekend. Always a good show. Always a good show. SG Fanboy says, oh, Chef Randy is here. Well, we haven't seen Chef Randy in ages. 8 inches of snow tomorrow, where Terry Nee is at. I don't know where that's at. I know it's not here. Better not be. And SG Fanboy is in the house. What other housekeeping do we have to do? I will be on Replayables tonight, which is on the Shuli Network 2. And that will be at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific. There you go. Chef Randy, I used to know the name of your restaurant. It was that Asian fusion place. I want to say it's called I don't remember the name of it. Anyway, I hope things are going well there for you. Van Shane said, good to see you back on Facebook. Well, I've been on Facebook for the last 2 months. I don't know why people don't get notifications, but I've been on there. Dave Doors is here. He says, what's up? What's up to Dave Doors? I'm trying to think of anything else we need to talk about. Oh, yeah. If you'd like to hear a whole bunch of our past podcasts and a bunch of other stuff associated with the program, you can go to thetomgullyshow.com. You can click on the store there and you'll find merch, but you can also just go to cafepress.com/The Tom Gully Show and you'll find a wide variety of wonderful things like, hold on, a standby studio, like this here clock that Terry Nee got himself a clock. That's what he got himself. So there you go. And a lot of other things. You can also go to, and man, we need the support. I'm now using the actual pay version of StreamYard, not the free one. PayPal.me/Tom Gully Show. It's right down there in the crawl. We desperately appreciate your help there. And Patreon.com/The Tom Gully Show has a bunch of exclusive content that I'm too scared to put on the regular internet. This is the first notification I've gotten, says Van Shane. Well, you're here now. That's the most important thing. Dave Dorr says, oh, I thought the show was about Jan and Dean. My bad. No, check out that behind me there. James Dean. I've got the Memorial Junction right there. Let me get out of the way. I can show you the actual, hold on. I was going to get these quotes out of the way. Yeah, that's where it happened, out in the middle of nowhere. Just near Bakersfield, I think. Dak says, let me tell you about that Tom Gully clock. Do you have information on it? Kahuna is also on Tom Gully time. Well, I'm on Central. So if you're on Central, you're on the same time as me. If you're not, I'm sure your time zone is fine. I'm sure you have a fine time zone that you'll appreciate. By the way, 972-994-6822 is the number to call throughout the program if you want to say something intelligent. Been having some nice conversations. The fact that Phil Elmore left the internet and Dabbleverse and everything else, you know, I'll get to that in a second. Bill Gaines is here. Says, haven't gotten a notification in months. This is the first one for me in what seems forever. Good to see you. Well, that's because Facebook's not helping. They're supposed to be helping, but they're not helping. So, I mean, I've been doing my show, and YouTube and everyone else is supposed to be doing everything they're supposed to be doing. They haven't. So, the Kahuna says, Tom Gully clock and a hoodie. I'll get to the hoodie in a second, too. My good friend Stella is here. And I'm glad to see that she's out and about. She had a rather traumatic experience recently in Romania, but she's a great gal, and we're happy to see her here. This is my Jay Johnson hoodie from when I was with the Jay Johnson Band, the late, great Jay Johnson. So I've been having this sort of philosophical discussion with some people because Phil Elmore left. A couple of other people have just left. Because they say it's not fun anymore. And I guess if you're making a living, you know, if you're the Shuley Network guys or you're Carl from Who Are These Podcasts or you're Kevin Brennan or something, there's a certain amount of nonsense that you're willing to take, that you're willing to put up with. But if you're a person like me that's just doing this for the fun, the amount of nonsense I'm willing to take is pretty much zero. And so there's these trolls, they're out and about. And I can tell you that people that have legitimate careers and accomplishments, yeah, if they were making a full-time living at this, they're different attitude. But if you're not, and your workplace or your family or whoever is being contacted, yeah, that's over with pretty fast. And trolls don't create anything. If you like the content, you know, sure, you can throw us a few bucks, and when you do, it's a thrill just from the, it's a vote of confidence more than anything else. You know, I can't go buy a car or a house from it, but it makes you feel good. You're like, hey, I'm doing something that people, you know, think is, you know. So if you like the content, these non-good-natured trolls, and I'm not talking about my good friends from a certain cult on the internet, because I like the vast majority of them. But I'm talking about just losers. And they're going to drive away people that would otherwise slowly develop content. So if you like the content, those people don't contribute anything to my program. My listeners don't come here for them. I do a bunch of work, and why should I give them my platform? I shouldn't. And they're not making any money on it. I could almost see it if they were making some dough being trolled. They're not. All they get is a little to their best buddy. All right, most of us got over that in 6th grade, but whatever. And I only say that because I was thinking about Phil today. But yeah, I got my hoodie on. What the hey? It's a pretty nice hoodie. Stella's laughing. I don't know how you can laugh about what happened to you in Romania in that red room. But if you can, you're just made from very stout stuff. Wow, that's good. Anyway, replayables, Shuley Network 2, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific time. With all that being said, let me tell you about James Dean's car crash. Does everybody know who James Dean is? Some of you youngsters may not know who James Dean is, so I'm going to show you. That is James Dean. He was the coolest dude in the universe in his day. He made very few films, and all of them were gigantic hits, and he was amazing in all of them. One of them was called Giant. Another one was called Rebel Without a Cause, and that's what he looked like in Rebel Without a Cause. Another one was called East of Eden. He did a few other things as well. Chris Abels says, amen, Tom G. I will be with Chris Abels at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific. On the replayables on Shuley Network 2, the number 2. So be on the lookout for that. Let me see here. Brett Hollywood said, Shuli Network 2 ruined my life. They may ruin your life, but they'll also help you put it back together again. Goat said, great sausages. I don't know what you're talking about, but I do recognize that avatar. I can't remember who exactly it is. Diana Jean O'Brien said, yes, I thought he hit a tree. Well, I will dispel you of that notion quite shortly. Diana? Terry Nee says, breakfast sausages guy, right? Oh, I know what you're thinking of Jimmy Dean. No, this is James Dean. It's okay. I've got a video for you. I got video this time out. And people saying hi to each other in the room. So it was way back in September of 1955 when it happened. Now, James Dean wasn't just a guy driving a car. He was a speed freak. A year and a half before the tragedy, he got his big role in East of Eden. Giant movie. And at the time, he bought a 1955 Triumph Tiger motorcycle and a 1953 MG sports car. In March of 1955, about 6 months before the tragedy, he traded that MG for a brand spanking new 1955 Porsche Speedster. This is James Dean driving that Porsche Speedster. Okay? And just before filming Rebel Without a Cause, and this is a photo from this, James Dean competed in the Palm Springs road races in that Speedster, finishing first in the novice class and second in the overall main event. So the dude could drive. Might also point out, James Dean, fellow Hoosier from Indiana. Oh, yeah. He raced the Speedster there a few more times before, well, he kind of overdid it and blew a piston. So when it came time for the movie Giant to be filmed, and you may have seen that, Elizabeth Taylor, Rock Hudson, an incredible film if you've never seen it, Warner Brothers said, you ain't doing no more driving of any kind. No racing, no driving fast, nothing. So what did James Dean do? He immediately put down a deposit on a Lotus Mark 9, which I don't have a picture of. And then he traded that Speedster you see there for an even more powerful and faster Porsche 550 Spyder. Here is a picture of that Porsche 550 Spyder. That's James Dean with the Spyder. And this picture was taken just a few hours before his death. Okay. Dean immediately, by the way, nicknamed his new car Little Bastard. Apparently that was his nickname that was given to him by stuntmen, and he had it painted on the back hood of the car. The 130 was his racing number, so he had that on the front of the car, and I'll let you know in a second why he was out driving this race car. Let's see what we've got in the chat, and then I'll play you a quick video, which is super ironic. Eric Harrison says, holy shnikes, it's Tom Gully. It sure is. And then he says, Little Bastard is the name of that car. It is. That's what he called it. James Dean equates to a modern-day Paul Walker. James was probably more of a thespian and more iconic, but their deaths mirrored one another. They really did. I would call James Dean... I don't think there is a modern equivalent because James Dean was only 24 years old when he died, and he was in 3 absolutely gigantic movies. Not just teen movies. I'm talking movies that crossed all generations. And he was a thespian. He was a very, very acclaimed dramatic actor. More so than like some of the, like Christopher Pine or somebody like that, that's a movie star, but are they an actor? So it'd be hard for me to pick someone... I guess you could say Robert Pattinson maybe, but not really because he did the Twilight things. Anyway, Diana Jean O'Brien says, what's a Hoosier, Tom, for us in the UK? Citizens, people from Indiana are known as Hoosiers. There's really no documented, definitive explanation as to why. There's about 3 or 4 explanations. One is that a man settled there and had a general store named Sam Hoosier when that territory was first being settled. Another one is that it was the vernacular in the area to say, who's here? Who's here? Who's here? And it turned into Hoosier eventually. And then another one was that the people there were so tough that they would have fights in pubs, and people outside the pub would say, whose ear? Whose ear? Because they had their ears cut off of them. But they're known as Hoosiers. The basketball team, the sports teams at the Indiana University are called the Indiana Hoosiers. So there you go. Hugh says, I was about 13 when my dad took me to the spot where James Dean died, which you can see right behind me. It's James Dean Memorial Junction. That's the actual spot. So I'm going to play for you a video. I will now play a video for you. Yes, I will. Which is a public service announcement, actually. And it's very ironic, as you will quickly see. Extremely ironic. And I'm just going to go ahead and play it. The actor that's in this with him is a gentleman by the name of Gig Young, who is actually a big movie star himself. So let's just get this going here real quick. And let's just watch this particular thing.
James Dean. Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Gig.
We asked Jimmy over today because he's a racing man himself. A real one, not a crazy one. Incidentally, I think I should explain that Jimmy just stepped over from the set of Giant. And need I add, he plays a Texan. Speaking of racing, have you ever been in a drag race?
Are you kidding me?
I just thought I'd ask. No, Jim races in the tradition, you might say. Real racing cars, real tracks. How fast will your car go?
Oh, an honest miles an hour. Clocked at around about 106, 7.
You've won a few races, haven't you?
Oh, 1 or 2.
Where?
Well, I showed pretty good at Palm Springs. I ran at Bakersfield.
Jimmy, we probably have a great many young people watching our show tonight, and for their benefit, I'd like your opinion about fast driving on the highway. Do you think it's a good idea?
A good point. I used to fly around quite a bit, you know. I took a lot of unnecessary chances on the highways. And I started racing, and now I drive on the highways. I'm extra cautious, because no one knows what they're doing. Half the time, you don't know what this guy's going to do with that one. On a track, there are a lot of men who spend a lot of time developing rules and ways of safety. And I find myself being very cautious on the highway. I don't have the urge to speed on the highway. People say racing is dangerous, but I'll take my chances on the track any day than on a highway. Well, Gig, I think I better take off.
Oh, wait a minute, Jimmy. One more question. Do you have any special advice for the young people who drive?
Take it easy driving. The life you might save might be mine.
And thanks also to story executive Walter McEwen for telling us how today's headlines help create an absorbing motion picture. We hope when you see Rebel Without a Cause at your favorite theater, that this glimpse behind the cameras of how a story was born will help you enjoy the picture more. I'll be back in a moment to tell you about next week's Behind the Cameras.
At any rate, as you can tell, that is quite ironic, given the nature of what would end up happening to him. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that, and you will see even more so why that is ironic as I tell this story. It was September 30th, 1955, when James Dean and the mechanic that he had driving with him, a German gentleman by the name of Rolf Wulthrich, were prepping that new car that you see there on screen for another competition. You see his Porsche Spyder did not have enough miles on it to be entered into the competition. So, in order for him to get more time in the car. So they started off, had some coffee and donuts, hit the road around 1 p.m., stopped for gas in Sherman Oaks about 2 p.m., and at around 3:30 p.m., James Dean, no joke here, was pulled over by the California Highway Patrol just south of Bakersfield. He was doing 65 in a 55, which just shows you back then they kind of took the speeding thing a little more seriously. After getting ticketed, they stopped, met some other drivers, hit the road again, and that's where things went south. Around 5:45 p.m., they asked in that video about advice for young people. The life you save may be mine. Well, that's when a 23-year-old college student and a Navy veteran named Donald, I didn't make this up, Turnipseed, was heading east in a black and white 1950 Ford two-door. Now, not two-door, but Tudor. And if I was to show you that car, it was a sedan, a blocky, horsey Ford sedan. As Turnipseed reached this junction, which is behind me, he was going to take a left, okay, at the junction of US 466 and State Road 41. And as he crossed over to the center line, he did so right in front of Dean's Porsche. So he basically made that left-hand turn right in front of the other car. Now, James Dean, he could see what was happening and tried to avoid the accident, but it was too late. He couldn't avoid it. The two vehicles crashed nearly head-on because Dean tried to make one of those sort of sideways power turns. Boom, head-on. Dean's car cartwheeled several times, according to witnesses, ended up in a ditch, some would say a gully, while the Ford was launched about 50 feet down the road in the opposite lane. The accident was observed by a number of people, okay? One of those people was a nurse who checked Dean for a pulse and could find only a very weak pulse at best. The California Highway Police were called out, and when they got there, James Dean had already been pulled out of the wreckage. He had a crushed left foot, which had been caught between the clutch and the brake. But he was very, very badly injured, and it's no wonder. Look at the car. Extremely badly injured. Broken neck, massive injuries, both internal and external. Wuthrich, the mechanic, had been thrown from the Porsche and was lying on the shoulder next to the wreck. So Dean and Wuthrich were taken via the same ambulance to a hospital that was about 30 miles away, where James Dean was pronounced dead on arrival. The cause of death was listed as a broken neck, fractures of the upper and lower jaw, along with broken arms and other internal injuries. Wuthrich had a broken jaw, along with a bad leg injury that required surgery. Meanwhile, Donald Turnipseed had very minor injuries, like a bloody nose, and that was about it. So after killing a major Hollywood star and interviewing with the California Highway Patrol, Donald Turnipseed hitchhiked home. Now, despite the urban legend that James Dean was speeding like a madman, crash tests indicated he was only going 55 miles per hour. And Dean's last known words, according to Rolf Wuthrich, were, "That guy's got to stop. He'll see us." And just then, Turnipseed pulled in front of them in their lane. There was a coroner's inquest, and it found that Turnipseed was not at fault due to the low profile of the Porsche Spyder, and he was found not guilty. Legends persist about Dean's car being quote-unquote cursed, but in the end, it was just a car accident like a million others. But it took one of Hollywood's biggest and most enduring stars at the very young age of 24 years old. So, here is a memorial about a mile east of the crash. It's a little park. Here in Indiana, in his hometown of Frankfurt, is James Dean's his actual burial place. But that's the way things went down for Mr. James Dean. Let's see here. His own advice didn't work. What an awful thing. Well, it didn't work on that other guy. Evangeline said, that's crazy. Eric Harrison says, yeah, nowadays if you're driving the speed limit in Cali, you will cause a wreck. That's for sure. Let's see here. What do you got here? You got people all over me here on this phone. I don't like it. She thinks she's... Yeah, that's not going to work. New subscriber. Okay. New login alert. Okay, bite me. All right. Boom shakalaka. Uncle Jack is here. Yeah. Fareed says, whoo, that car does not look good indeed. No, not at all. The Wolf is here, says Reverend Harry Hoosier, a Methodist evangelist from 1806. Yes. Then Sam Hoosier. There's a bunch of them. Nobody knows. There's a ton of stories. Nobody knows officially why we're called Hoosiers. We just are. SG Fanboy says Dean and Company Paperweight Company. Yeah. The 24 Club. Uncle Jack says, how we doing tonight, gentlemen? What's up? The Wolf says, supposedly evangelized out of the territory of Indiana. Well, that's I won't get into that too far. Diana Gina Bryan says he was into drugs and alcohol too. James Dean? Actually, I don't think so. I mean, James Dean might have done some drinking now and then, but he was extremely level-headed, except for the driving. He was a crazy driver. Dennis Hopper had to threaten him one time in a car or something. There's a video of it on YouTube I looked at for this show. The Wolf says he was Jed Smock. Wolf, we're going to do it. We're going to do a show on Jed. Jed Smock was this guy that used to travel to colleges and universities all over the U.S. of A. and call out college kids for being fornicators. I mean, he got beat up a lot because he'd see some fraternity dude walking along with his sorority girlfriend and just call her a really bad name. And we'll do a show on Jed. Eric Harrison says, do you remember what my nickname was, Tom? Eric, I am sorry, I do not. I wish that I did. I do not. By the way, like the show, hit the like button, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Brett said, I had no idea Phil had left the Dabbleverse. Yes, he did. And his reason was very simple. It was not fun anymore. And I think a lot of that had to do with his family getting messed with and certain other things that are just, just cruddy people. Just very low character people with nothing else going on in their life. Just choosing to make somebody miserable for no reason. And there's people out there, I call them complete idiots, that go, well, if it's on the internet, you're going to just have to. No, not really. Not really. Sorry. That's anti-content. That thinking is anti-content. If you're making content on the internet, even if you're just a tiny little show, you deserve an avalanche of harassment. And these people that'll tell you, well, what you going to do? It's on the internet. You guys are morons. Because I've had a guy charged for the crap he pulled on the internet. If you get a competent police, but there is nothing in the laws of harassment, stalking, all that stuff that says has to be on the internet. Doesn't say anything about the phone either. And there's certain laws that are specific to the internet. So you just got a bad police department or somebody that looks at somebody and goes, nah, I don't want to help this guy. Moronic thinking. Anti-content thinking is what that is. Why should I work my rear end off researching these stories, converting photos, doing all that, and give a platform to somebody that's just a walking piece of trash? Please, somebody enlighten me into that. Why should I build that for that person? Go ahead, tell me. I'll wait. There isn't any reason. And why should I have to put up with somebody that I wouldn't put up with any other facet of life? Why here? Tell me. Go ahead. Tell me. I'd love to hear your moronic response. Anyway, no more Phil. Congratulations. GHWB sabotaged James Dean's car. I don't think so. The Wolf said, oh, come on. James Dean was a cryberry. James Dean was a fine point guard in the Anderson sectional. I won't have any of that talk. Diana Jean O'Brien said, oh, only what we heard here in the UK. Well, maybe. I don't know. You hear all sorts of things. Eric, oh, that's right. The Truth Bomber. Eric Harrison, known as the Truth Bomber. The Wolf says his tears clouded his vision and he crashed. I don't think so. Diana Jean O'Brien said, what was his life before being an actor, Tom? Well, I don't think he had one. He had a drama teacher at the high school he went to. And this drama teacher lived way longer than James Dean ever did. And they would interview her all the time. And she would talk about how serious he was about his acting craft. And he came to Hollywood. I think that he did a little acting on stages and stuff. And but he was a guy that took odd jobs and stuff to get his big break in Hollywood. And so he had a 5-year career. Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, and Giant. And there you go. He, let's see here. Fairmont, Indiana. He was from Fairmont. And, well, he was born in Marion, but 6 years after his father left farming to become a dental technician, he moved with his family to Santa Monica, California, was enrolled at the Brentwood Public School. Dean was very close to his mother, it says. In his adolescence, he sought the counsel and friendship of a local Methodist pastor. He had interest in bullfighting, car racing, and theater. His performance in school was exceptional. He was a popular student. He played on the baseball and varsity basketball teams, studied drama, competed in public speaking through the Indiana High School Forensic Association. And in May of 1949, moved back to California with his dog Max and his stepmother and father. He enrolled in Santa Monica College and majored in pre-law, transferred to UCLA for one semester, changed his major to drama, which freaked his dad out. So he started acting in James Whitmore's workshop, and in January of 1951 dropped out of UCLA to pursue a full-time career as an actor. He started doing various TV specials and walk-on roles right after, in 1951. So, he didn't really do much until 1951. He was 20 years old, and 4 years later, he's dead. So, let's see here. Eric Harris says, I was wondering how that turned out. I guess you answered the question I was going to ask. Yeah. Randy Ramos says, Jeopardy is going to start. I'll mute it and continue to listen to you. Well, thank you, Randy. I appreciate that. Trebek's gone. I think I'm better than... Anyway. Fareed says he's laughing at the Wolf. Terry Nee says, let's face it, he would have been Jane Dean today. I don't know what he would have been. The Wolf says he was crying through all of his acting. Wolf, where do you get this he's crying business? I've never heard that my whole life. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just, SG Fanboy says maybe he faked his death and is hanging out with Elvis and Tupac. Maybe. People laughing at him. Let's see. The Wolf says his performances were incredible, crying through every scene. I'm not crying through every scene. You're tearing me apart. Wasn't crying through most of Giant. He was drunk through most of Giant. Okay, so he cried once in a while in movies. Crying out loud. You know, Iron Eyes Cody cried in a TV commercial. You know. I bet you the Wolf knows every actor that's ever cried in a TV show. That would be something he would remember. There, I'm going to show him in better times. He's not crying in that picture. He didn't cry in that video I just showed. Doesn't cry all his own, whatever. Let's see. He cried in Giant. Yeah, he did. Not through the whole thing. Just for a second when he was drunk. Cried. Decline host says, Tom, are you not sick of all these dabblers yet? I don't see a ton of dabblers. I'm not sick of most of the people in the world. So the answer to your question would be no. Tim Jenkins says, didn't German engineering kill him? No. I mean, you might be able to say that. He was driving a convertible with a low profile, but it was kind of a race car. I'd say that big, giant, clunky Ford that he ran into because some dummy pulled in front of him is what killed him. Eric Harrison says, my question was, did you ever actually get the charges for that one dude that was harassing? I don't know which dude you're talking about, but I did get him for one guy. The guy that was wanting to cut my head off and all that stuff. Was contacting people and all that stuff. Oh, yeah. A police department, a prosecutor, and a judge all signed a warrant for that guy. So, Randy Ramos says, hi, Laura. Is my sister here? My sister. Let's see here. The Wolf says, no, I told you his teary eyes let him down. You suck. The Wolf. I've known the Wolf for 40-some years. It's a long time. Brett's Hollywood Show says, Tom, do you hoop? Isn't it like a law in Indiana? Pickup ball. It is a law in Indiana, and I do hoop like everybody else in Indiana. And the Wolf, who's from Indiana, also hoops. And the Wolf and I have shared many stories of when we left the boundaries of the state of Indiana and went and played with other people. And we weren't even that great in Indiana, but we schooled people from other places. And there's also been occasions where you're sitting around waiting to play pickup and somebody will go, you got an Indiana University t-shirt on there. You from Indiana? Yeah, I'm from Indiana. Okay, you're running with us. Okay, I used to work for occasionally a gentleman's magazine, and one of the photographers there was from Austria, but he had a basketball court in his photo studio. And when he found out I was from Indiana, he was, you're from Indiana? Okay, you are on my team. You are on my team. We play those guys. You and me. It happened a lot, actually. Terry Nee says, James was no man like Cary Grant. Yes, he was trying to find his intercostal clavicle. That's my sister, Laura. She's awesome. My sister Laura has actually contributed to the show via PayPal. Yes, I think my only family member to have done that. Oh, wait, my other sister's on Patreon. So, Eric says the guy that called like 100 times in a day, right? No, he actually didn't call that often. He would text. He wouldn't do it all that much. Hughes said, Tom, if you look at the size comparison of the two cars, the Ford was about 3 times bigger than the Porsche. I know. I was going to show a picture of the Tudor, but I didn't think it was that you guys would be that interested, but I guess I could. I mean, what's it going to height? Let me see. 1950. Wow, sorry. I'll go ahead and show a picture of it. It is a big, clunky thing. Big, old, awful, clunky-ass thing. Let me see here if this will get me a decent shot of it. This will get me a decent shot of it. Okay, here, I'll just share this screen and you can see. You won't have to see much more than this because you'll immediately get it. This was a big hunk of American steel is what it was. And so when you see a Porsche this, it's not even funny what's going to happen. That's why the other guy didn't have any injuries and walked away. Share my screen. Come on. Be a good boy. Share my screen. Share my screen. Do my bidding. Share my screen. This is the other vehicle that was involved in the crash. So as you can see, obviously that's not going to end well for the Porsche Spyder. Just a big giant hunk of, like I said, big hunk of American steel is what it was. You know, that's what it was. You know. Let's see here. Terry Nee says, okay, I'm done. I don't know what you were doing, but it's fine. You can continue if you want to. I don't care. Eric Harris says, with my profile pic, I was trying to provide James Dean as a zombie. Yeah, I think you got it. You got the hair. My sister said they should have seen you with the soccer ball. Well, shouldn't everybody have seen me with the soccer ball? I mean, and every man, woman, and child on earth that hasn't seen that has been deprived an experience that, it's just majestic. Diana Jean O'Brien says, my grandson Miles has just got a basketball and a hoop for Christmas and the kit. God bless him. For you American viewers, the kit is the uniform. Just remember, gooseneck, look front of the rim. Anyway. Your shot comes from your legs. I know it's not popular to think of it that way, but your shot comes from your legs. Okay? So just remember, you got to get the legs into it or your jump shot's going nowhere. You can't, it's not all the hand. You got, let's see here. Brett Hollywood says, in my younger days, I ran at Venice Beach twice a week. White man can't jump court. I was just about to say. Randy Ramos says, are you referring to Kelly, the senior lecturer? No, I'm referring to my sister Laura, that's here in the chat, and in the you're watching on Facebook, so I'm putting the comments up at the bottom. So Tim Jenkins says they say that Porsche was a death trap. I've heard that too, and when you look at that Porsche, I actually do have another picture of that Porsche that I could put up as a background. But when you look at it, look at that thing, man. You got that little piece of plexiglass, and then you're just open. You're just open. And that's the size of, I would say, a Miata, maybe a little longer than a Miata. You're not going to do well up against that other deal there. It's not going to do well. But my sister Kelly, yes, is senior lecturer. I'm sure she hates it when I do that. The Wolf says, I never saw Cary Grant cry. He cries in a movie. Oh, yes, he does. He does. The Kahuna says, yeah, whatever. Karen Garvey says, you're leaving. Are you going out to get bread and milk before the big storm? You got to get the bread and milk. The Wolf says, all race cars of that time were death traps. I hope Terry Nee wasn't leaving for any other reason than, reasons of his own. Nobody here was harassing him. We love Terry. He's a good fella. Let's see here. I will tell Miles that, Tom. There's a bunch of good videos on how to shoot a basketball, how to jump shoot a basketball. Tons of them. Find one with Larry Bird in it if you can. The Wolf says, Venice Beach or the Eternal Carnival? The Wolf is a former bodybuilding champion, so he probably knows quite a bit about, let's see here. Hold on. I think I know one of them, but I want to make sure. And Cary Grant was married to Diane Cannon. And let me tell you something. That's, let me see here. Let's see. Happy. Penny Serenade. Ha! Penny Serenade. He cries like a little schoolgirl. I didn't get this ring for nothing. All right. He was married to Diane Cannon. Ha cha 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 cha. Terry Nee says, Karen, stories were hilarious today. Karen Garvey is here. Always good to see Karen Garvey. The Wolf says she had some cannons. Yes, she did. I don't know if she was fully naked in a movie or if she just had like a yarn top on or something. It's a movie with Burgess Meredith, and they're at a party. But Eric Harrison says, have a great night, everyone. Good to see you, Tom. Hey, Truth Bomber. Nice to see you, too. Always. The Wolf says one of his worst films. Worst. Either way, it's one of them. By the way, 972-994-6822. I am so hungry, and I have to do the replayables where everybody on that show will be drinking except me. I will be the only person not drinking on that program tonight. I have no doubt of it. And there's going to be a lot of drinking going on. Last time, usually somebody hurls on that show. It's quite common for people to hurl on the replayables. Shuli Network 2 at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific time. Right here on YouTube. Karen Garvey says, why one of the worst films, Wolf? Too much crying? I'm going to just ask, Wolf, is there an appropriate crying in a movie? Has there ever been a movie where someone crying has been okay? Because I can think of one. SG Fanboy says, both you and Bobby. What? Will nobody drink? The Wolf says, the Fox never hurled. I don't know who the Fox is, but I know a movie with crying in it that the crying was appropriate. Brian's Song. Just saying. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Let's see here. Let's just see what we can do here. Is this the official trailer? This better be the official. I won't settle for anything less than the official trailer. And I'm not showing the video.
Cough and chest congestion relief that goes
shut
the
up.
distance.
Nobody
Mucinex
cares.
DM.
We hate you, you pre-roll ad. Okay, here we go.
This is a story about two men.
One was
competed for the same job.
One was black.
One was white, the other
One was black.
One liked to talk a lot.
The other was shy as a kid.
The other was shy as a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Hey, rookies got to stick together.
Our story is about how they came to know each other.
Love
Fight
each other.
I'm gonna whip you, Sayers. But you gotta be at your best.
You got to be at your
Help
best.
each other.
I think I Got's bad, I know that.
The true story of Gale Sayers and Brian Piccolo.
God, I don't know. Why did he have to die? Why did he have to die? That was transformative, by the way. YouTube, before you get crazy, that was transformative. That was transformative as heck. Randy Ramos says, great movie. I have it on DVD. The Wolf says, the Fox was world famous for chugging beer, though I beat him. The Wolf says, I never chugged beer standing on my head. The Wolf had a 6-beer mug. Yes, the mug would hold 6 beers. Anybody that would ever get in a drinking contest with the Wolf was just a fool. I mean, I wasn't at Ball State for 3 seconds, and oh my God. I'm sure I've never even told the first time I ever met the Wolf, I was walking down the hall and I heard this laugh come out of this room. And that's the start of it all. And I could have just looked at him and gone, I'm chugging beer against this guy. The Wolf says there shouldn't have been any crying for that film. I'm pretty sure Gale Sayers in real life cried when he got that award. So tonight, when you hit your knees, ask God to love him too. My sister, didn't we lose James Caan this year? Well, Laura, not this year. This year's only 5 days old. Come on. But we did lose him last year. Diana O'Brien says, Tom, you baby. I know. I cry at movies. Well, I get misty-eyed. I'm not weeping or anything, but I saw Gale Sayers speak at a school. I met Gale Sayers. Gale Sayers is easy to meet. He was always speaking somewhere. I think, wasn't he like the athletic director or some sports ID? He did something for, was it Southern Illinois or maybe it was Kansas? I don't remember. Northern Illinois. Maybe it was Northern Illinois. Randy Ramos says, there's no crying in baseball. That I will agree with. So you see Brian's song, which is the football story, and then you see Bang the Drum Slowly, which is a baseball story. You don't even want to cry and bang the drum slowly. You're like, this is a tough break. But Brian's song, please. Terry Nee says it was Northern Illinois. That makes sense, Chicago area. I knew it, and they were in our conference, so meeting him was not difficult. Let's see here. My sister Laura says, Tom cried at Cabin Boy. The fancy lad. You're a fancy lad. Didn't cry at it, but that's also the movie David Letterman appears in. And it's very funny. It's a bit part. The Fox was on all the perv sitcoms like Taxi, Cheers, and he was also a regular on The Man Show. Oh, yeah, the Fox was that guy that could take a full mug of beer and just go wham, and it was done. Just boom. It was like a one-shot deal. That he always said it was in the pour. That, you know, it's stupid to sit there and try to gulp it down if you could just blah. Anyway. Karen Garvey is laughing at my sister. PayPal.me/Tom Gully Show or Patreon.com, The Tom Gully Show, because old Tom needs the money. That's why. I did the commercial the other day. There's a guy in Indianapolis, Dave, nobody will sell you a new or used car at less than old Dave Mason. Why? 'Cause old Dave needs the money. That's why. Nobody, but nobody, will sell you a new or used car less than Dave Mason. 'cause old Dave needs the money. Anyway, paypal.me/Tom Gully Show or patreon.com/The Tom Gully Show. A lot of stuff there. Diana Jean O'Brien says, nothing wrong with a good cry, but please don't sing that again, Tom. I have the earphones in. Oh, you mean the theme from Brian's song? Both of them slow motion running through the park. Na, 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 na. Chris Abel says, I'm trying to be a Fox apprentice. Well, you're getting there, brother. You are getting there. Not for lack of trying. You're putting in the work. Terry Nee says, I cried in the theater watching Tora, Tora, Tora. Jesus, parents. I was in like the 3rd grade. Yeah, the Wolf says, that mouth, that drink, Cleveland, my nickname for the Fox. He had a place on Santa Monica and 6th. Okay. Wow. Diana Jean O'Brien's got some sort of smiling and laughing. The Wolf says he played a perv little piano and sang dirty songs. He's not John Balby, but he's close. He's very, very close. Drank. He liked to have himself a drink once in a while, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. Man, I hope people have a lot of good fun stuff going on this weekend. I'm going to be working at the Big Giant Radio Company this weekend. Yeah. 5 a.m. to noon on Saturday and 5 a.m. to 1 on Sunday. Can you dig it? The Wolf says he liked liquor. He liked that liquor. Corn liquor. The weekends arrive, and of course this tonight is a little different because, you know, I'm doing the replayables on the Shuley Network 2 here in about an hour, I guess. And so I probably can't eat during that show unless I get something to eat between now and that show starting, which is conceivable. I have things here I can make to just get something in my stomach. See, then, because after that show's over, I got to go to sleep. Because I got to get up at 4 a.m. and go do the radio. And I won't get to eat from 5 a.m. till noon. Because there's no stopping the radio. I guess I could make maybe I could make I bet you know what? I'll make a sandwich. I probably should just make a PBJ or something just to have it. Throw it in there. They do have snacks and stuff, but downstairs, I'm telling you, downstairs, they got this company McDonald's store. It's really good. Not a franchise. No. McDonald's owns the store, so everything's... Brett Hollywood says, Shuley Network stole my Walkman. You know, and Kevin Brennan's partition hid it. So anyway, I don't know what else we got going on. We are going to do a show on Jeb Smock. What else we got coming down the pike? We're going to do a Paul Walker show. I just got James Dean finished here, so I can mark him off the list. I'm going to do a story on the thalidomide children. I don't think you want to know about that. I'm sure my sister Laura knows about it. You really don't want to know about it, but I will tell you about it at some point in time. Randy Ramos says, I just helped reopen a restaurant downtown in Union Station. It's called Nevermore. It's a theme, obviously, about Edgar Allan Poe. That's cool. The Wolf says, just have a pizza sandwich, play a song and pound it. I don't play songs. I do the news. You can't eat in the studio. There's no place to heat things up. Well, there's microwaves and stuff, but you know what I mean. It's just, I don't like having to wolf my food down and then run into the next room and get another newscast set up in the computer. It's better just to starve. I probably will just buy a Snickers and a Red Bull right when I get there. I'm doing a show on the Pacers telethon that saved the Indiana Pacers. I've got the beer chocolate flood, the London beer flood, the Dublin whiskey fire. I might do a show on Bud Dwyer. Let's see here. I'm going to do the JFK Jr. plane crash. I'm going to do Jim Bailey, stuntman. I'm going to do Amelia Earhart. I'm going to do the Glenn Miller plane crash. I'm going to do the John Denver plane crash. And I'm going to do the Russian submarine called the Kursk that blew up at the bottom of the ocean, and the Russians wouldn't let anybody help them. So everybody died. Russian says, you're not going to see our secret submarine. You comrade, you will not see our secret submarine, never. Will you see the inside of this? Well, nobody else is going to, because they're all going to die. And they all did. They all died. And because they waited like 4 days before they let the Swedes were just going in a circle around the wreck site, going, we'd like to help you with the people dying, and, you know. Brett Hollywood says Gully legitimately started the Pacers Piston brawl in 04. You mean the malice at the Palace? No, the guy that started that was Ben Wallace. And he never took enough heat for that. But that was up in Auburn Hills. I wouldn't have been at that game anyway. However, the Pacers did not take kindly to... Terry Nee says Jim Bailey got into plastics after the war. No, Harry Bailey was, and he was decorated with the, Jim Bailey was involved with an airplane. He was a stuntman. And when you hear the story of Jim Bailey, you're going to go, ooh, wow, that's unfortunate. The Wolf says it was just a yellow submarine. Diane O'Brien said, I'm looking forward to those, Tom. Yes, well, they're coming down the pike. Ron Artest didn't even hack him that hard. I know. The Wolf says, do one on the AMC Pacer. Well, I think AMC in general, I'll just put AMC Pacer, Gremlin, and Hornet. Boy, there's 3 cars you never see anymore. I mean, you might see them at a car show or somebody might restore one, but they're not like other cars of the era, like pickup trucks and vans and other things, that you just see old ones around. Those babies, I don't know whether they were rust buckets or what the problem was, but they didn't last very long at all. They really didn't last that long at all. Okay, I don't know. I guess nothing else is going to happen here. I'm going to go ahead and close the phone lines down that nobody ever uses. I don't even know why I opened the phone lines on this dumb show. This show is so dumb. So stupid. It's a stupid show. It's so dumb. I can certainly close my script on James Dean. I know you guys just think I'm reading a website or something. I actually do write the doggone show every week. I got to start putting more jokes in it. It's just hard to put jokes in stories about people dying. About people dying, I got to sit down and think of some more story things too. I hadn't thought about the Tylenol murders that we did last night. I hadn't thought about that in forever. But man, when it went down, people were losing their nuggets over that. They were absolutely going crazy. The Wolf says there are some javelins around. You know what you don't see anymore because of rust? And they were amazing cars, Studebakers. But they were just rust buckets, man. They just rusted out like you can't imagine. But in their day, they were pretty good cars. Let's see here. Terry Nee says Datsun B10 started rusting immediately. Scrap metal was used. Rust was standard at no extra cost. Diana Bryan says, never dumb. Love this, the Tom Gully Show. Well, thank you, Diana. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Datsun used to make a little convertible called a Sunbeam. It had a very close cousin within Datsun that had a number. It was like J3000 or something. There's a family down the street that used to refurbish those. They used to rebuild them and get them in just perfect shape. And I always thought, man, I'd like to have one of those someday. And I started looking into it, and they're all just rust. Terry Nee, B210, not B10. Let's see here. Paz says, hell yeah, brother. I'm looking at a vehicle right now. Wolf says, I saw an original 56 Studi pickup truck. Well, Wolf, you know, our good friend that owns the record store up there in South Bend, where they made the Studebakers, the factory's up there. He had a Studi that he drove around. But I think he even had to put steel plate on the bottom of the floorboards because the damn thing, they just rusted like crazy. Just rust buckets. I had, and my sister will probably remember this car. I had an orange Vega that was rusted from, and it didn't rust all over the car, but it rusted the wheel well along the bottom to the other wheel well. So when you close the door, the whole body would shake. Randy Ramos says, I just closed down the phone lines. I'm so sorry. Next time. I don't want to open them back up. I think I need to end this show and go make a pizza. My sister Laura goes, I do. Yeah, remember I painted the racing stripes on it with spray paint? That car was awful. That was an awful vehicle. I don't even know if my sister got to drive in that one. But then I got another Vega that was a wagon, that was a much better car, even though it was still a lousy car. It was just much better than the other one. That I actually liked that car. And then I got a Pinto. My first three cars were Vega, Pinto. Yeah. The Wolf says, so long, folks. What is that? Oh, hey, the Wolf's avatar is him doing a flex pose thing, just like the one I'm doing. See my big giant muscles? All right. I like having the Wolf here because great show as always, says SG Fanboy. Thank you. I like having the Wolf here because I can always get verification from him. The other day when the trolls were here, he wasn't here. Because when they were here, I could have gone, hey, there's somebody in this room that will tell you I am the nicest guy in the world, but if you get on my bad side, you're gonna have problems. Terry says, I drove an MG Midget, had to turn back immediately because I was too tall. I always love those cars. I love Miatas. I love a lot of them, but I can't drive a convertible. I just can't. And not for any other, it's two reasons. Number one, I feel like a convertible is like you drive it one day in the spring without the roof up, and then you don't drive it, in convertible mode again until the next year. Second thing is, convertibles are just loud on the inside, even when you have the cover up. And certainly when it rains, they're just loud. And they don't stay that warm. And I don't know. I can't have one. Karen Garvey, what would I do without you? Please hit the like button before you leave. Especially those of you watching us on YouTube. Please hit the like button. Please give us a little likey-wikey. Because we need to get monetized, man. I realize it is a pain in the butt to go to paypal.me/Tom Gully Show. And it's so much easier when we're monetized. And you can just click the thing and, however many dollars. Looney Tunes Critic said, did I miss the show? Well, we're closing her down right now, Looney Tunes Critic. But if you do need a little more Tom Gully this evening, you can go to the replayables on Shuli Network 2 in just under an hour. We're going to be on there 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain, and 6 o'clock Pacific time. So, yeah. But if you could, if you want to buy some merch, just go to the TomGullyShow.com. Tons of old podcasts there, by the way, about 270. And then if you go to PayPal.me/Tom Gully Show, if you got a few dollars, we wouldn't be upset. And then Patreon.com/The Tom Gully Show, where you can get exclusive content. I'm way too frightened to put on the actual regular internet. The Wolf says, my first 3 cars were Delta 88 Cutlass and the Snow Sled / Mercury Marquis, the Merc, as we called it. The Wolf says, I'm out. Well, the Wolf leaves. You know, all the chicks are going to leave. Anyway, I guess I should get out of here. I'm sorry, Doc. I just ending up the show. And, yeah, no. The Wolf says, did you fight Deadites in the Delta? He would. If he didn't, he would. The Wolf, like 5'10", 240. He had a narrower waist than me. He's just a physical freak of a specimen. And bodybuilder, football player. Just, he could eat a lot of food, too, by the way. Van Shane says, great show, Tom. Yeah, Deadites in the Delta. Yeah. It's, yeah. I can't believe my sister says, go have a good dinner. Great show. I'm going to have a Totino's party pizza. I wouldn't describe that as a great dinner. Gully ruined my trip to Guam, says Brett's Hollywood Show. Delta 88 is the car that Sam Raimi puts in all of his movies, says the Looney Tune critic. Well, shop smart. Shop S-smart. All right. I'm going to be on the Replayables in a little under an hour, and it's on the Shuli Network 2. Shuli is S-H-U-L-I, and then the number 2. Everybody there will be drinking but me. And but it hopefully will be some fun. And other than that, we'll be back at you, I think, on Monday. So with all that being said, the only thing left to say, other than there's stuff you can contribute to in the crawl there. Say goodnight, Gracie. Goodnight, Gracie. Is till next time. We'll see you next time.